What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new coil build. Hope you guys are ready because I've got something very special to share with you today. I think I may have found the ultimate build for a series box, or at least the rig pig in my opinion. This is a Fuse Clapton build, and it is amazing. The flavor is outstanding. The heat is on point. If you're a chucker, you're going to absolutely love this because the vapor production is out of this world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and grab your mod, your wick, your addy, your wire, your tools, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. All right, guys, so as you can see here, we have some 26 gauge Kanthal A1 for our core wires and some 38 gauge Nichrome 80 for the outer. And as you can see here, we are just spinning up the Fuse Claptons using the Clapton Jig Rig V2 by Vape3D.com. Make sure you check the link in the description. I'll have it there for you guys. This is like the V2.5 because he added a few little things right after I did my first video on it. And it's got this nice little locking clamp system where the clamps can't separate anymore, which is really, really good, and it works pretty darn good, if I do say so myself, for basically like a cheater jig kind of system. Definitely on my list as far as good products to buy if you don't like building by hand. So there we go. We have our perfect strands of Fuse Clapton wire, which we're going to be using today. Let's go ahead and transfer over the screen real quick and we'll get to building. All right, so as you can see here, we have our 3mm bit size. That's what we're going to be using. Let's go ahead and put one of those strands right inside the bit here and spin up 8 wraps of this wire. We need 8 wraps. So just kind of keep the motion going. I got out most of the imperfections and the twists and things like that just by reversing the drill after I wrapped up that wire. So it's pretty darn straight. If you do encounter any sort of twists or anything like that, then you can just grab your pliers and then twist in the right direction to straighten that out as you're wrapping your coil around the jig. But honestly, I think we're in pretty good shape here, so let's just keep going with it. So we have, that's going to be our 4th wrap. Let's just do 4 more here. So this is 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, that is a monster of a coil, if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and get another one of those spun up, and then we'll go ahead and install them. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have our dual 8-wrap coils all ready to go. So let's go ahead and bring in our rig pig, and we'll get started here. So there we go. There she is, all nice and shined up, or as best as I could for this video, I suppose. This thing is my daily driver, so I like using it a lot. So basic installation here, nothing too fancy. You just want to slide the coils in, get them pretty close to the posts. I like to leave a little tiny gap, and you'll see why in just a little bit here, but get them pretty close to the posts and try to get your leads situated properly so that you can just kind of organize the wire a little bit. I like to leave the positive leads a little bit longer than the negative, which will come in handy when we go to center these coils. And yes, we're going to get these pretty good and centered. So there we go. I'm actually just going to go ahead and double check everything and tighten down the negative here. And you've got to be very gentle with this because sometimes the screws can snap those leads, and that's the last thing you want. So be very gentle with this stuff. Just snug right there. And I'm just going to snug this one up too. Now, I would highly recommend you do this without batteries in your device. Usually I take my batteries out before I build on it, just in case. You don't want to be tapping that fire button by accident and then either scorching your finger or, you know, shorting your coils or anything like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and start to do the centering. And yes, I'm leaving those leads long just in case. You know, you don't want to snip those leads too short and not have enough room to be able to center your coils or anything like that. So just leave those leads long and start the centering process by just pushing them over like so. Now we're going to do the other one. I know it's a pain in the butt with all this extra wire in there, but honestly, it'll make sense in just a little while. Also, what I like to do is just kind of pull outwards a little bit and pull up just a little bit. Make sure they're a little bit higher than average, I would say. And what we're going to do, essentially, is kind of force those leads down and into place by just taking your screwdriver and then kind of at a 45-degree angle, just kind of putting a little bit of pressure on it so it falls kind of into place. And this is going to take a little bit of time and a lot of bit of practice, so just be very careful with it. You don't want to accidentally snap that wire or anything like that. And when you kind of get your leads almost in the right place, I like to just clamp them down there, and we're looking pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that and clean this thing up a little bit. Alright, so we're looking pretty darn good. They're pretty much as centered as I can possibly get them at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and trim those negative leads off. I'm still going to leave the positives a little bit long just in case. I really don't like to cut those positive leads until I absolutely know they are 100% good. So as you probably saw there, I'm just kind of pushing the coils as much as I can towards the center and lifting up and out at the same time. I'm kind of balancing it on this finger here, using it as kind of a pivot point just so I can put that even amount of pressure on it so I can just straighten up those coils. The rest of the straightening and neatening basically comes when you fire them, so don't really get too OCD about them yet, but as you could probably tell, they're looking pretty darn good. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot here. Let's go ahead and trim those positive leads and then we'll give it some heat. Now, one thing that would be ideal for this situation would be the Roughneck V2 adapter that Vape Amp has. Unfortunately, I don't own one of those, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, which is the machine gun pulse. So just kind of rapid fire tap that button and make sure you don't hold it down for more than a split second, because we want to get out those hot spots without lighting up our coils too much. So just kind of rapid fire. And if you see any sparks flying or anything like that, be extra careful. Make sure you get all the debris out of the bottom there, just in case you don't want anything shorting out your coils or on your atomizer. Just be extra super careful. Now just double and triple check when the coils cool down. You want to triple check how far away it is from the post, because those will move around when you start getting some heat on there. So just kind of put your bit back through and then stretch it out a little bit once again. That's going to help you out, and just, yeah, be careful. That thing is pretty darn hot still at this point. So just make sure you cool it down. This process will take some time, so definitely be a little bit more delicate with it here. Alright, so we're looking pretty good right now. Let's give it one quick last test fire. See where we're at, then we're going to wick it. Oh yeah, that's looking good to me. Fires up nice and quick, nice and even. Everything looks good. The coils are straight. Let's go ahead and wick this bad boy up. All right, vapors, we are ready to rock and roll here. Let's go ahead and see some vapor production. Oh yeah, really excited about this one. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that point in this video where we go over the coil build that we just did here. So my first category, as always, is the heat, and the heat index on this one is a bit high. I would have to say hot. This one is a scorcher. If you like a hot build, then this one's definitely going to be for you. For me, it's a little bit too warm. I've handed this to my friends a few times, and they say it's too hot for them, but for me, I really like a good warm to hot kind of vape, and this definitely delivers on that front. front for sure. My next category is the ramp up and ramp down time. Honestly, the ramp up time is almost minuscule. It's like maybe a quarter to a half a second, and the ramp down time is about 2 to 3 seconds depending on your wicking. I'm just going to take a rip real quick and I'm going to check it out for myself. So yeah, I'm getting about a 2 to 3 second ramp down time, which is not a big deal for me. I got a little bit of sizzle on the end there, but honestly, I built this particular coil for the ramp up time and the flavor, and I'm definitely getting both of those, you know, in bunches here. So that's specifically why I built this coil. The ramp down time, not a big factor for me. Now, this is the point in the video where I have to put up a big warning sign. Do not do this build if you're using anything lower than a 30 amp battery. I cannot stress that enough. I'm using the white wrap LGs in here right now. You can also use Sony VTC4s. Those are going to be safe, but anything lower than 30 amps is not going to be safe. So make sure you check out Battery Mooch's page for a nice reference guide. He's got all the top batteries right now, as well as their amp ratings. So Samsung 25Rs, the LG HG2s just ain't going to cut it for this one. Make sure you're using the right tool for the job. And as for the difficulty of this build, I'm going to give it a moderate to high rating here because honestly, after the initial wrapping of the fused Clapton wire, there is quite a process to get those coils all nice and tuned up and straight and centered and even and everything like that, even before you press that fire button. And I can't stress the safety factor enough. If you're not used to the behavior of fused Clapton coils, if you don't know how to tune them properly, then do not attempt this build. Stick with something like my previous Rig Pig build with the 24 gauge spaced 10 wrap. That's going to do you a lot better. I really want to stress the safety factor on this one a lot because I'm an experienced builder. I've been building for almost 2.5 years now, and I figure that I know enough about coils that I know their behavior, I know what to look out for and everything like that. And if you're a newbie builder, then stick with something very simple for your first series build and just work your way up from there. I kind of did a little bit of experimentation with this one using different gauges for the core. I used the 28 gauge, which just didn't have the ramp up time for me. As soon as I switched it over to 26 Canthal, that just made my day. I discovered this beauteous coil here that we just built. So that's why I did specifically what I did, but it just took a lot of my own knowledge of, you know, wire behavior and everything like that to be able to do that. So definitely more for your moderate to experienced builders out there. And my final category is the flavor. The flavor is outstanding on this one right here. I've got this Blazzy liquid that I've been vaping on, Blazberry. It's a blue raspberry strawberry flavor, and it is top notch. It is a very warm to hot build, but I'm still getting full-on flavor out of it. I'm getting a decent amount of airflow in there just because of the way I position those coils up nice and high, so I get that airflow going on right underneath the coils and all the way through that atomizer. I can actually see light on the other side of this thing if I put it up to the lights here, but really the flavor on this build is top-notch, especially for how much heat and how much airflow is going on. Normally that would kill off a lot of the flavor, but not so much on this one here. But anyways, guys, that about does it for this build video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave me comments in the box below of what you think of this build, whether or not you want to try it out for yourself, and if you do try it, let me know how it goes. Don't forget to leave me suggestions for coil builds for future Fresh Build Friday videos because I need your ideas, guys. Let me know what you guys want to see and I will attempt it myself. Anyways, don't forget to check out the advocacy links in the description below. Now is the time to stand up and fight for your vaping rights, so get on it. Donate your money to the Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition if you have any extra that you're willing to dish out. Anyways, don't forget to check out my social media links. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple of bucks on Patreon, that would be awesome as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys are the best. And as always, vape on!